I had anaphylactic shock. I very, very, very slowly got out of my body, and then I popped out, and I was standing in front of it going, wow, I didn't know you could do that.
At this point, have you figured out that you're dead?
Not yet. I saw Nancy's body down in the mammography room, and I said to myself, nah, I couldn't have died. I always heard you go through a tunnel. And then boom, I'm in a tunnel. I could smell the moss. I could smell the dirt. I could feel the humidity on my skin. And so I did a couple more experiments to see that just thinking a word manifested that environment. Then I saw a pinpoint of light. And I said to myself, oh, I know what this is. I'm supposed to go into the light. So I went into the light, and I spent a lot of time feeling those, wave after wave after wave of bliss and unconditional love and acceptance. And I was home. It's going to make me cry. It's the first time in Nancy's life I ever really felt home. I started getting downloads, everything there was to know on lots of different topics, every single piece of data that could possibly exist about the topic, along with the sense that you have personally lived it firsthand. And I had a life review that includes not only seeing everything from the life that you just lived, but also you get inside the other people who were in those various events and feel their emotions and hear their thoughts and be them participating in the same event, so that you're seeing your perspective and their perspective and somebody else's perspective. It's all at once. Every single bit of sensory data that Nancy had ever taken in was all there. Every sky, every sound, every thought, every hope, every dream, was all there. But I started getting a download of all these hundreds or maybe even thousands of other lifetimes I had lived throughout the universe as all kinds of creatures and things. That was a lot more interesting than Nancy's life.
I'd imagine so, because I've already lived Nancy's life.
I remembered every single moment of every single one of them. And I was just flabbergasted that I could possibly have ever thought I was Nancy. I mean, that was just ridiculous when I had lived these eons and eons of other lifetimes. So I thought, well, I better ask the big questions. So I asked, what is God? What am I? What's the purpose of life? What does God expect of me? Where's heaven? Where's hell? And what's the one true religion? Mm-hmm. I asked the last one because I was reared as a Catholic. So I got the answers to all those questions, downloaded, in the form of knowings. And after getting all those knowings, I was angry. I felt betrayed. I felt like I couldn't imagine why anybody would have taught me this intricate religion when there wasn't a bit of it that was true. And I had just gotten the truths directly from the source.
You said you asked 6 questions. So what are the answers to those 6 questions?
What is God? God is an energy source. It's infinite, infinitely powerful, all-knowing, unconditionally loving, has a distinct personality, creative, funny, curious, extremely curious. And out of its curiosity, it created the universe, things that it knew could exist, but it couldn't experience directly because of its own nature. Mm. So to imagine this universe like we imagine dreams. It populated the universe with creatures and things, just like we populate our own dreams. And then in order to experience what it was like to be in that universe, to be inside a human, to be inside a tree, to be inside a rock, it projected its own consciousness and self-awareness into those various physical matter things, experiencing the universe from inside all of the things it has imagined.
Okay, 1 and 2. So what are the rest of the answers? I'm fascinated.
What's the purpose of life? 3 major purposes and 2 kind of add-on purposes. To gather data about a particular aspect of physical matter that source can't experience directly. So let's say the thing that you want to study or learn about is greed. You will incarnate into every creature in the universe to experience what greed is like from all perspectives. All those things that were in the knowings that downloaded into my mind, that's where they come from. They come from source's intellectual knowledge combined with the experiential knowledge of souls that have incarnated. And so that's what most souls are doing. They're experiencing some physical aspect of the universe the source can't experience directly. The second, not as prevalent, is to incarnate with somebody that you love, to be their support person, like a mother or father, brother, sister, teacher, coach, something like that. And the rest of the time, it's supposed to be fun. And then the third major purpose is to be a catalyst. That catalyst event may be one time, and the whole rest of that human life is supposed to be fun. So those are the purposes. Where's heaven? It's the state of existence you reach when you're not incarnated. There's no hell. I watched Source create. I remembered creating the universe, and there was no hell created. And at the time that Source created the universe, there was no other entity. There was no, comparable evil force or evil spirit. There was nothing but Source. Everything that existed is Source. And I got to a point where I woke up. I woke up to the realization that I am Source. And see, I just watched creation, and I remember doing it. I remember doing it as Source. I not only watched, I remembered it. And I woke up and I thought, I did this to myself. I created this whole way of experiencing myself. But more importantly, I was never alone. I was never unloved. I was never adrift. And that feeling was the most powerful thing I've ever experienced in my life. I kept saying in the back of my mind, this is Nanci's eternal personality. Somebody ought to tell those folks. Somebody ought to tell those folks down there. And the next thing I know, I'm in a whirlwind on my way back to Nanci. And I'm saying, I didn't mean me. I thought somebody ought to tell those folks.
Someone should say, I didn't volunteer me.
Yeah, I was quite happy where I was. But my intention was that somebody tell those people what Nanci learned and experienced. And I was the only one that could do that, because I was the only one that ever been inside Nanci. So back to the body. She was cold and slimy and
How long was she out? I'm talking about you. How long were you out?
I was never out. I never lost one moment of consciousness. Nanci was dead 10, 15 minutes.
But in your experience, in your consciousness, there was no time really.
Time is an artificial measurement that humans use, like inches and pounds.
Created time based around the rotations of our sun. It's just an arbitrary thing. What is your definition of living a good life?
For me, it's working my mission.
Now, and what is your mission in this life?
My mission is to tell anybody who will listen what I experienced and what I learned in the afterlife.
And what is the ultimate purpose of life?
The ultimate purpose is to experience it. Just experience.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
All of it.
Nanci, I appreciate you so much for coming on the show and sharing your story with us. And hopefully it's helped a few people along the way.
You're a wonderful host. Thank you, Source.
Thank you.